All right. Hey guys, this is Yoda. This will be another VOD review video on a recent plus 30 Waycrest we did on Fortified Sanguine. I feel like I played pretty well in this one, but there were a few mistakes I made, so I'll talk through everything and try to go through what I did and what I did wrong. All right, so we start off with a pre-invis. I asked the healer if he prefers the boss or the pack with Lust, because, it's kind of harder on him than everyone else. He said he prefers the pack with Lust, so we go pack first instead of boss. The way we set up kicks here, there's 3 captains that need to be interrupted, and 3 DPS, super simple. Each one picks a captain, and I'll get the witch. If the witch is a soul charmer, then it's me. If it's not a soul charmer, then, I don't really kick. Technically, we could pull the runic disciple here, interrupt-wise, but there's no need to, because it's just too many mobs, in my opinion, for the start. So we run in, we group everything. I start off with pre-wings. Notice I sentinel before I group everything. These mobs tend to auto pretty hard, so if you have nothing running in, then you will get trucked. So we start off with wings. Tank trick it as soon as they're all in. Drop a consecrate before 5 stacks because they just hit that hard. Then we had 5. We notice it's a soul charmer, so I will be soloing kicks on this soul charmer. All 3 DPS, each kick a captain. We have residents here, so I don't need to be... I shouldn't be using my kick here while I have Resonance. I'm just going to let Resonance kind of just solo it for me. I could be throwing my shield, which I am for small damage increase. Since Resonance is over, we have to start using my interrupt and start tracking shield. You'll notice I prioritize Blessed Hammer here if I'm soloing kick. If I have a backup kick, I don't need to do this. I can play more for damage, but right now I have shield off cooldown, so I'm going to shield. And then after I shield, it's kind of low, so I might not do this, but I should be prioritizing Blessed Hammer to try and get shield back. Then once shield back, I can likely out. So you notice this hammer was off cooldown, but I still use our hammer of this one. The damage hammer is off cooldown, but Blessed Hammer, I use Blessed Hammer instead. That's the farm back shield reset, so I can solo the interrupt. Yeah, I'm still doing it. I actually use 2 of them in a row, finally get a proc, and then I go back to using damage hammer. So get the interrupt there. Defensive rotation in this was just wings tier into Ardent into Goak, I think, once wings fell. Pretty standard. Once it dies, you notice I'm walking in a circle. You don't want to run in a straight line for Sanguine, because then you'll run out of space pretty quickly. And also it tends to have, if your DPS aren't killing back to front, then it can cause issues. If you walk in a circle, it's they're always killing back to front, and you also won't run out of room as easily. So we're kind of cutting in a circle here. I think I should bubble here. I run up no cooldowns. Yeah, it's bubble. Then we walk, they're cleaving. We don't want mobs to die on top. It's a good ring. So you notice he rings them kind of off the side. So there's a little strip of land here that I can pull them through, which I think I tried to take advantage of. The guards do heal a bit, but then the captain, it's more important that the captains don't heal. So we pull them around, captains get no healing. The last guard dies, pull them off the cleave, and then we just pull in the next pack. There's still 3 captains alive, so all 3 DPS are soloing kicks on the other captain, and I have the disciple alone. This one's a little bit more lenient, because you can use your Hodge to fill. So if you run out of shields and kick is on cooldown, you don't necessarily need to be prioring Blessed Hammer to get resets. You can just Hodge it. Captains are dying, so we'll move. When you're dealing with Sanguine, it's kind of important to note which mobs are CC immune and which ones have casts. The captains are super annoying because they're both immune to CC and they have casts that make them stand still. So sometimes you have to pre-move off of them while their cleave is happening, but we didn't actually have to do that here. Okay, my group doesn't trust my ability to tank these guards off the boss, so we said we'll just finish these. Finish them off, and we go boss. Okay, so for this boss, as a paladin, I don't think you're strong enough to be taking bolts on a high key, so the way I do it is I just solo interrupts on the main witch, and then I tell my group, you guys kick the other 2 witches. So I do get every interrupt on the main witch, and I'll try to toll when I can, and then sacks on random bolts. If you're playing Spell Ward, you can Spell Ward on the second witch here, Malady. But I decided to not play Spell Ward just to get 2% more damage. Spell Ward is really good here. I might play Spell Ward on Tyran, I think. If I had Spell Ward here, I would just Spell Ward the mage and he could just stand still and plant and do damage, and he wouldn't take any damage. You could also Spell Ward healer if your healer's having trouble, especially if they're Disc Priest in this phase. So we continue. I just solo every interrupt on the main witch. They kick the off witches. On Briar's bolts actually don't hurt. For some reason, the other two witches have like magic damage bolts, and Briar has physical damage. So her bolts are like affected by armor, and you can, well, you're a paladin, so you can block all of them, but they're affected by armor and damage reduction. So it's not as important to interrupt Briar. You can interrupt the other witches during Briar. You can see I just tab shielded Selena there. Okay, so that's the whole thing. I am playing Bop instead of Spell Ward, so I'll look to Bop the second Thorn. Usually I just Bop the second Thorn unconditionally in the first phase. The second time you see her, she's like alone and there's no other witches, so she's really easy, so it's better to use Bop like before, like the first time she gets the 50. Okay, anyway, that's that. After this switch dies, once this switch is low, I think, once Malady is low, I look to chain. There's one, I have one Acolyte here in my route, so if you want to play it safe, you can just wait till Malady dies and then pull her. But I noticed last time, we did this key earlier in the day, and I noticed if I pull it after Malady dies, then the Acolyte's actually alive for a long time, so I decided to pull it here. Just for speed. Actually a little bit dangerous. These toads actually do quite a bit of damage when they come in. So it's important to have a defensive rolling. I think I actually bubbled there, holy shit. I had Ardent too. Okay, anyway, we finish this off, then we go into the courtyard. I don't know why I decided to go this way. Usually I go from the other way just because it's like easier on aggro, but here we go. The way we set up interrupts here, I just mark a skull and an X. I solo skull, all the DPS are on X as a paladin. If you're a demon hunter, I would do 2 kicks on skull, 2 on X, and you fill, like you do first kicks, then second kicks, then silence, then, you know, kicks are up, kick again, then like a bunch of sigils, then kick again, blah, blah, blah. But I'm a paladin, so I just solo skull, they get an X. So we pull all the dogs into the pack. As these are dying, I'm going to try to run away, run in a circle, obviously, so we'll probably see that here. I see the dogs are getting low. I actually kind of messed up here. I have Consecration downtime. I mean, it's Sanguine, I'm going to have to be running away, so I'll have Consecration downtime anyway, but I probably should have had Consecration up, like, right now. Oh, I just pushed it. Okay, that's good. One dog dies. I actually should have been walking already. You kind of see me standing still here. I should have been walking this way. We do get saved by a knock, I think. Oh, not a knock. I just move and they move. I think this ring was okay, but not that good. I would probably, because I think these weren't going to heal. I would rather him knock like when they're casting here, as you can see. Someone walks through, we just do a little loop, and we drop the Sanguine off. I'm refraining from chaining here. I think I could technically like deal with a couple maggots here or the Gorgers, but it's like too much effort to deal with Sanguine and interrupt and pull him, so I just waited for one to die, I think, and then I pull. Theoretically, I should pull any day now. Oh, I actually didn't even pull it. I pulled this. Okay. I think this order's fine. This guy's hitting me in the back right now. I probably should have Ardent. Oh, no, I have Wings. Okay, so Wings is fine here. With this Matron Brindle, this pull is really dangerous on Sanguine. I guess quote-unquote dangerous. Not really dangerous for dying. Dangerous for, like, because she loves to stand still, and these dogs tend to die really quick. So you have to, like, as soon as she Thorn Barrages, you have to, like, pull in a circle around her. So you see how she's standing still? Then I'm going to try and do, like, a little loop like this around her for Sanguine. I think. In theory. Okay, I actually didn't do that. What I was doing is waiting for a fire. Never mind. Okay, so we get the fire. Unfortunately, the dogs died on the fire. I think this was actually a misplay. I should have done what I was talking about earlier. I should have just done a loop. I think the main reason I didn't do it is because this Thorn Shaper's here. But yeah, if fire plus Sanguine, I think Sanguine wins. Unfortunately. Surely now I pull a Gorger. Okay, yeah, so I pull a Gorger now. It's 2 Gorgers plus a couple maggots. I don't think this is that dangerous. In this area, I've seen a lot of groups just like pull a bunch of maggots and pray your AoE stops work, but I feel like it's a lot safer to just like slowly chain them in while you're fighting the matron. Okay, so I think from here, I'm gonna like say what I think I should do, and then we'll see if I actually do that. It'll be like a fun exercise. So from here, I think what I should do is wait for this Thorn Shaper to die, and then drag Matron to a fire. Because if I drag to fire while the Thorn Shaper is alive, then the Thorn Shaper will die on the fire, and I can't use it to burn the Matron. Okay, Thorn Shaper is dead. Surely next step is to walk to a fire. Okay, I'm just AFK. I guess there's no fire. I think I should also pull this mob right now. The play I think right now would be to run straight here, tag this mob, and have them both on the fire. I think I was a little bit scared because I have no cooldowns though, so maybe I was just chilling. Yeah, I think I definitely should have run over here and pulled the Thorn Shaper and used that fire over there. That would have been a really good play. Okay, so we're just kind of chilling, waiting for a fire, I think. Surely? Okay, so we wait for the fire. Surely I just walk her over to the fire now. I'm not walking into the fire. Okay, never mind. Delete the VOD. Oh, I guess I was just scared. Okay, so yeah, I walk her over. We pull this. She is in a fire, so it works out. Okay, so the end result is actually not that bad for this. I think I should have been a bit quicker to run over to this fire, but it's not. I guess it ended up not being a big deal. So she's going to die and spawn sanguine on the fire, so I can't use it for this Thorn Shaper. I guess I'm looking for a fire right now. There's one. Surely I bring her over. Okay, I didn't bring her over. I decided to pull more mobs instead. So this is 4 maggots and a peasant. Like I said, I like to get rid of these before the second boss. That way when the second boss is dead, you can just do a pull. If you don't get rid of these maggots first, then the next pull you do is like running past the maggots and then pulling 2 gorgers. It's like 2 gorgers and 6 maggots. It's very dangerous. So I like to get rid of these early. I guess I also wasn't in a rush to get rid of this Thorn Shaper with the fire because we need to kill the maggots anyway, so it just dies for free to cleave. Okay, maggots die. We're on the peasant. I think I'm supposed to pull the corner pack, and I kind of forgot. I should have pulled it earlier too. We'll see what I do. Oh yeah, okay. I think someone reminded me, and I just go straight to the corner. So I mark skull on X, same kicks as always. I have skull, everyone else on X. VDH would do 2 on skull, 2 on X into sigils. So now these mobs are all burnable, so I should be heavily prioritizing going to the fire. The way the fire works, since I didn't mention it yet, is the mobs that are starting in the courtyard are vulnerable to the fire. Like randomly lightning will strike from the sky and cause fire. The mobs in the courtyard that start there are vulnerable to fire. The mobs from like this side and this side are not. But it actually does a lot of DPS and it scales with key level, so. We get that fire, you'll see in a second here how fast they die. It's like 600k ticks on them, it's actually crazy. Okay, so we finish off the mobs. I think we had people rezoning here. So that's why the Demon Hunter and the Monk died. They're rezoning to put on PvP trinkets for the tree boss. Originally, I wasn't in the PvP trinket believer camp. But I guess I am now. It's just worth so much damage. We kind of lose a decent amount of time, but we have a lot of time. And the tree boss is the most dangerous thing, so that is our strategy. All right, we'll fast forward here. It actually takes them quite a bit. Okay, so we go into the tree boss. Our strategy on this tree boss is usually 3 thorns, then clear. And I have bop to speed one up, so if it doesn't pick the mage on the 3rd one, and I'm like out of cooldowns, then I'll bop the mage and insta-run in. But if I have cooldowns, usually I'll sack and just try to kill the 3rd one manually and look for a burn after. So we start with wings, send tier during wings for dam. After this wings, I think it'll be ardent. Yeah, so wings falls off, we ardent with big consecrate. Big consecrate falls, ardent is about to fall off here. This moment I'm a little bit vulnerable, so at this moment you see the next Soul Thorn is in 7 seconds. And I basically have no cooldowns. So I do have tier coming up and I have free wog available, so I'm basically watching every single melee he does. I'm like, oh shit, do I need a wog after this melee? Do I need a tank trinket? But once you have no cooldowns, you basically need to be hyper aware of your like health bar, like parries, parry RNG, all that stuff. Be ready to react. So we're waiting to get meleeed a couple times. We tank trinket wog, boom. Here, I think I could have not run in, but I'm pretty sure it picked the mage. Let me go back. Boom. Yeah, it actually picked the mage, so I'm like, oh shit, it picked the mage. I gotta go clear right now. Because, you know, mages are broken, so they are immune to stun once they blink. So we go for the clear. I actually got lucky. There were no good fires here, so I was gonna have to run him really far, but then one spawned like on the way, so we clear here. He can melee, by the way, while he's burning. So you see me like kind of staying away from him, just throwing my range skills at him. And I'm also going to run him a bit away. So I cleared the fire like right there. Right? So I'm going to pull him a little bit farther back so these red guys that spawn are easily kiteable for anyone. They don't really aggro me, but it's like now see how our healer's super far away from them? By pulling the tree here, we're like closer to the healer while he's kiting. Okay, we got kind of lucky there. Pick the mage again. And we have wings. I think on a 3 fire rotation, you usually have wings up like as soon as you clear. Maybe that's cap, but I noticed that pattern while I was fighting him last time. So we just go wings after wings. Hold on, let me go back. Right when it falls off. So wings falls off. I have big consecrated to tier, I think. Surely? Yeah, okay. Big consecrated tier. That's not that many cooldowns, so I'm kind of watching my health bar here with Wog. I noticed the Wog didn't heal me that much, so even though Tier's running, I still push Ardent. Then we go. This is actually pretty spicy here. I think I was looking to bop. I think I bop this no matter what. Yeah, so I noticed that my cooldown situation and my parry RNG is kind of bad recently, so I said, okay, next one I'm bopping and clearing insta. But I'm pretty sure let me go back and see what happened. Oh, he trinketed. Okay, yeah, so it picks our monk, he trinkets insta, and I just clear. If he doesn't have trinket, then that would be a really good time to bop and clear, because my cooldown situation was not good. Like, I have bubble, but that's it. Surprised I didn't lay here. This would have been a good lay, so I was health bar dip low. My healer gets meleeed here. I didn't kite. It's because I didn't kite the tree away, actually. If I kited the tree, because you know, see how I cleared here? I brought the tree to the middle. I actually should have brought him here. So the healer could easily stay in range while arranging the red men. We have trinket again or something. I'm not sure what happened there. And then the boss is basically dead. We have wings in a tier. And he dies. Didn't even need to use bubble. Easy. Windwalker and DH die on purpose to rezone. Let me show the pull of the next pull. So this is the pull. Now that the maggots are clear, I can easily go in here. I walk in. Tag this piglet. I guess any of the mobs in here are fine. Just don't use shield. Use judgment or hammer or something. So we'd use judgment. Then I like try to face this reveler. Let me go back. So I run in, tag the piglet. Usually I would try to like target this reveler and taunt it and then run out. But proxy pull can cover it too. So I run in. This time I think I don't remember if it was this run or another run where I got unlucky. Notice that I use my speed belt here because horse fell off. If these while you're running out, if these mobs like melee you in the back, it's really, really bad. So this is a good time to use speed belt. If you don't know about the speed belt, check out the engineering video on the channel. But yeah, if you don't have it, then you would just like walk in, judgment, and then horse out. You wouldn't use horse to go in because that way you're like running away from them quickly instead of just like. So that way your speed basically is used while they're chasing you instead of just when they're not chasing you. But I do have speed belt, so I just speed belt out. The consecrate does cover this reveler, even though I didn't taunt it, I just face pulled it. And then consecrate for aggro, and then toll as soon as they're in. And that should be good for aggro. Cooldown wise, we have Ardent. I think I should tier here as well. Surely? Okay, yeah. Ardent, tier, and big consecrate usually is like too many cooldowns to use, but on pull, you kind of want to overuse because most of the time you're more in danger on pull than otherwise. Also, I still have bubble, so I know like I probably won't run out of cooldowns anytime soon. Okay. Notice I have no DPS alive. Ardent and Tier both fall. This should be bubble soon. Yeah, it's bubble. Basically, as soon as I push those two buttons, I knew I was going to have the bubble. So here's the bubble. Once bubble falls, I think I call for bark because I know I have nothing. Surely. Surely. Okay, I guess I have big consecrate. I don't know. This should have been bark 100%. Okay, there it is. It was a bit late. I think I probably called it late. It should have been bark as soon as bubble fell. Once we're in wings, it's basically Jover for them. There's no way I'd die in wings here. Okay, so in this pack for Sanguine wise, these Gorders move really easy and they also keep jumping out. So the only mob you really need to worry about is the Steward because he tends to stand still casting. Like the rest of the mobs all move and they have low health, the Gorders jump out. So it's just the Steward. We're going to be using the circle cutting technique here. Basically just run around in a circle. That's the whole technique. Ideally, once he casts Dinner Bell, you see how I'm like kind of on this side of him? I should run through so these revelers don't run through him and die. I think that is what I do. Yeah, that is actually exactly what I do. So he does run through the second pull. I think he got one tick, but I guess it's fine. We have Mortal Strike on him from Windwalker. We just keep running, keep going in a circle. Unfortunate stun with the knock is fine. And that's pretty much it. Ideally, you would have someone like pre-knock if something is about to die on top of him, but you know, circle cut. If you run in a circle, then instead of just having to like pre-knock all the time, they'll basically be able to knock like for emergencies instead of as basically they'll be able to knock, save their knock cooldown for emergencies. They don't have to use it like all the time. So you actually have it when something important happens. This pull, I tag the pig, then I blind these maggots so they're not hitting me in the back when I run into the room. We're into the room, judgment this. I wasn't sure if it would proxy, so I judgment this, then target pig and taunt, I think. Yeah, and that aggro's everything. And then we just run out. Make sure you don't throw your shield there, otherwise you'll pull the boss and you wipe. Okay, cooldown wise, this is kind of unfortunate. I dropped my big consecrate and I can't go in. This looks like it's an Ardent into wait for wings, then push tier, but we'll see what I actually do. Okay, actually, it looks like I just greeted. So I run into my big consecrate and I and I have toll. So I probably toll here pre-wings and then wings after toll, if I had to guess. Okay, I actually played it mega greedy. So I actually run in, don't use any I did use the Ardent. Okay, so I run in Ardent only, then wings into toll. That is kind of greedy. I'm surprised I didn't cheat. I think on like if I didn't get lucky, I probably would have cheated here, like with parries and stuff. And he did do a good sweep. I think normally I should have just Ardented insta, and then this Ardent would be like at 2 seconds left, and then I would wings and toll, and it would all be fine. Okay, so we have wings. For some reason, I'm not using consecrate. That's a mistake. And this is basically the same as the last pack, except there's 2 stewards. We're still just gonna be running around in a circle. Unfortunate that I'm losing value on the consecrate here. So we run around in a circle. Should cut in pretty sharp here. Yeah, I drop, since these guys got stuck in the back. Then we hodge the Reveler in the back so he doesn't come here to heal them. And we just keep running until all the low HP mobs are dead. And then we keep running again because I'm dying. Because I keep having to run, so I'm not in consecrate. Once it's just 2 stewards left, I chain like some maggots in. Just to balance the damage, basically. Like, so instead of just pulling all the maggots at once, I pull the maggots when it's like just the steward left. Because normally, just finishing off the steward instead of chaining maggots, I think is wrong. Because then you could be like, your healer could be like working right now to get rid of these maggots instead of like pulling all the maggots. Instead of like your healer's AFK while you fight stewards and you pull all the maggots and he's overworked. It's better to like, have him just steadily healing all the damage income. At least that's the way I play it. Obviously, there's like some other considerations like burst cooldowns, AoE stops that would make you want to pull all the maggots at once, but I prefer to do it this way. Okay, so we finish off the steward and the peasant, and then I like to kill this maggot pack, and then I pull the remaining pack into the boss. So we finish this off, and then we pull the rest into the boss. On this boss, if you're a dwarf, you actually are LOS sometimes. I have a toy that switches me to like one of those Zereth Mortis guys. Blubbery Muffin also works, and there's a bunch of toys that change your appearance. Just probably use one of them on this boss so you don't get LOS'd. That's pretty much it. There's a bunch of there's like 3 maggots and a peasant, so there's a little bit of group damage, but this boss really doesn't hurt at all. So, yeah, I like to balance like group damage with stuff that doesn't hurt the group, which is this boss and the stewards. Technically, during Tenderize, you're allowed to walk out. So I could have walked out, stunned the pig outside, and then walked back in. I think I decided I was too lazy to do that because it's actually, I've never seen this boss heal from Sanguine. His Sanguine hitbox is like really low, so I decided I was too lazy to do that. I'm just going to take the pig here. So the Sanguine doesn't heal the boss. We just move the peasant off and call it a day. I think that was fine. The main danger people run into in this boss, okay, if you're playing like a dwarf tank, sometimes you like are like, oh shit, I'm LOS, and you like walk around randomly and you cast Consume All, so the toy fixes it. The other danger is these servants having good DPS on them. You know, since you're a paladin, you don't have Sigil of Chains, so it can be hard. Just make sure to watch out for Hodge. Hopefully your group is managing this well, like mine is. They just do knock into stun. You can like try to hold toll and tier for the servants, but at the end of the day, like you're a tank, so you're not going to be doing that much damage. Tenderize, I don't consider that really dangerous, you know, just dodge. While these peasants are out, I am looking for sack, like any doubles. I'm just going to sack that person insta, hopefully. The other danger is this Rotten Expulsion. So people think Tenderize is scary, but Tenderize is like really easy to dodge. This Rotten Expulsion is easy to dodge, but a lot of people don't know. This is actually like the most scary ability the boss does. If you get hit by like one of those things landing that has no telegraph, it's very quick. If once this thing landing actually does them like a lot of damage, so make sure you look where the boss is facing and walk to the other side. Okay, anyway, that's this boss. We finished the boss off. I think we pull in some maggots at some point. Maybe we don't need them for count. Oh, we don't need them for count, actually. I know the count number with my route. So we don't pull the peasants. So actually, we avoid the kitchen, which has a bunch of maggots. I also prefer to go down this way, and you'll see why in a bit. So if you go the other way, basically you're forced to engage a Thorn Shaper and 4 dogs instantly. And those mobs aren't that juicy. They tend to just be annoying, right? Like the dogs drop off Sanguine, which can heal the whole pack. The Thorn Shaper requires a bunch of interrupts and has some area denial with Uproot. Whereas this pull is dangerous, but it's not annoying, I guess. So like there's a bunch of interrupts, but I'm a paladin, so I can take care of that. There's like only one real annoying mob. This is just Soul Essence that drops Sanguine. And then like the matron and the captain all have a bunch of health. So this is a good pull to like pull quickly and get your cooldowns out. Whereas if you go the other side, you're forced to like engage the Thorn Shaper, and you don't really want to cool down the Thorn Shaper alone, or even the Thorn Shaper with matron. This is a much like juicier cooldown pull, which is why I go this way. You notice I don't have wings on pull, so we start with Goak. This is pretty normal. If you go into a pull with no wings, you almost always want to have Goak. If you don't have Goak, then like Bubble. If you don't have Bubble, then like you can kind of try to tough it out with just Ardent or Ardent Tier, but it's scary, especially in pulls that hit the tank. Anyway, so the way we do interrupts on this pull as a paladin is I'm soloing the diviner. I use my blind for the maiden and my Hodge for the essence. And then I have 2 range. Well, we only have 1 range, so it's like 1 range plus the monk on the matron Alma, and then DH, which is like consistent melee that I'm always playing with as my paladin, as kicking the captain. You could also do like mage on captain and like 2 melee on the matron, but it doesn't really matter as long as those are covered and you're not dealing with them. It's better for you to be on the diviner because this one has a spam caster. That's your like specialty as a paladin, so you target that. And then Maiden and Soul Essence don't recast, so you can use your own AoE stops. Ideally, the group would like help you with AoE stops on those, but you do have the capability to solo that, so you know that's what I try to do as a paladin. Okay, so this is the Heroic Visage. I blind. Notice someone did help with a knock there. I think it was the Druid. And then I should Hodge the Essence here while throwing Shield at the Diviner. Bubble, Wing's still not up, so I bubble there. I actually catch the Soul Essence with Toll, so I don't have to Hodge, I think. Soul Essence is dying, so we'll move off. It's kind of important to keep your movements like small in this basement because you have like low space, I guess. I actually don't stop this Visage and it hears the Monk. That was a mistake. I probably should have Hodged that. That was a mistake. Notice how I'm kiting like back this way. That's because if I go the other way, there's a couple of packs still alive. We don't want to sanguine heal those. I kite this way and then I'm planning to like loop around like this. Around the pool that we already have. Somehow that volley went off, I think, and no one died. Not sure how that happened. Maybe I got the interrupt. I don't know. Okay, so the two annoying mobs are dead. The Diviner and the Soul Essence and the Maiden. That's all three of my assignments, right? So now I'm free to solo the Thorn Chamber, which I should pull in. I think maybe I wait for the guard to die, then I pull it. I guess I Hodge the guard away for Sanguine. Okay, so this is actually a move. So I Hodge the guard to separate him. So I Hodge the guard, then pull off him, and then I basically box them out. So I walk between these mobs and the guard. The guard hits me, so he doesn't walk on top of the matron or the captain. Remember, the captain is like unCCable, and he has cast, so it's really annoying if something dies on top of him. So I Hodge the guard, walk off, box him out, and then we go this way to pull the Thorn Shaper. And I can basically solo interrupts on the Thorn Shaper. And it's really important that the dogs do not die on top of the matron or the captain. Those are the considerations for Sanguine here. I think the matron's low enough that she'll just die before the dogs, but I do need to keep them away from the captain. So we'll see how we do that there. Matron's dying. I pull these off the matron for Sanguine. Unfortunately, captain heals a bit. It looks like I'm just kind of standarding it, like walking in a circle. I guess it works out. Nope, actually it doesn't work out. The captain heals. So this should have been, I probably should have called a pre-ring here. Because the dogs did end up dying on top of the captain, just because of, like, he's unreseeable and he casts Shadow Cleave, so I don't think there's anything I could have done about that. I should have called for a ring, a pre-ring on the captain. Wow, he actually healed a lot there. So yeah, big mistake. Anyway, after that, we just finish these mobs off and we move on. Okay, so this pull down here, the way we do it in my group is I solo the Soul Charmer, everyone else kicks the Diviner, and we do AoE stops on the Essences, and we also do a pretty interesting setup on the Essences. So the way the game works basically is these Essences will randomly cast Soul Essence, or Soul, whatever the Soul Scar I think it is, a certain amount of time after you pull them. They'll have it queued, but that makes it really awkward to use AoE stops so they're not all casting together, right? So I toll instantly to silence them, and then we do a sweep, I think. So this is toll. I guess it should be toll into sweep, but there's 6 mobs and tolling is 5, so I don't mind this sweep actually. So it's insta sweep. After the sweep, they're all synced, I think. Yeah, so the sweep ends. 3 of them are casting Scar Soul. I don't know what's up with this guy. Okay, so the 4th one, you see all 4 are casting Scar Soul at the same time. And once we do an AoE stop here, they'll all still cast Scar Soul at the same time, like on repeat. So you only have to use 1 AoE stop for 4 stops. And that's all made possible via the sweep on pull. Okay, so other than that, we just rotate AoE stops. You notice I'm soloing the Soul Charmer, and group is on the Diviner. So that was DB. Next it can be like Chaos Nova or Misery or my blind. Actually, I don't have blind, so we only have Chaos Nova and Misery. This pull, obviously, once you're out of AoE stops, you're like dead to Scar Soul. So it's kind of important that you have cooldowns. We do have Meta and Tiger, so that's good. Our tech actually ends up not mattering because our cooldowns are so strong. These mobs are dead like before their second cast, but it's definitely a lot easier if they're all casting Scar Soul at the same time. We do the normal circle kiting strategy, so they all die and don't heal each other. It's basically circle kiting is really OP on Sanguine. I think this guy heals a little bit, but whatever, not a bad result. Could have been like a pre-knock here maybe, but not the end of the world. Okay, we continue. I keep soloing the Soul Charmer. Everyone else is on the Diviner. All right, so this boss, you can interrupt the Lady Waycrest with your shields, but yeah, it's important to note that your shield has travel time, so you kind of have to throw your shield at 1.5 seconds left on the cast or lower. I think like 1.2 is probably okay, but I think 1 second is too late. So I try to get as many shields as I can. That just makes the fight way easier to heal, in my opinion. Normally, you would also have to dispel here. You can run out of mana on this fight. I've run out of mana before dispelling, so if you have another dispeller like the monk here, then he just takes care of it. For these swirlies, notice it's kind of important that you need to be like exactly on this pixel in order to throw your shield. So I like walk out to drop swirlies, then we try to make our way back in. You don't want to like start out then walk in. You want to start in then walk out. So since I was late, this cord goes off. Then I wait for the next one. I should throw a shield here. Yeah, we get the interrupt. Basically, you want to be here as much as possible, get as many interrupts as possible. It's not like completely necessary because like, most groups don't even have a paladin, so it's clearly this boss is doable without the shields, but if you can, you do what you can. The rest of this boss is pretty easy. You just do the same thing on repeat. Make sure you have a cooldown for wasting strike. And that's about it. Try to save like a free walk too. We actually, sometimes you will pull the soul charmer here, at least with my route. The Lady Waycrest cast is not important. So the way I usually do it is I'll put we can actually get all of them. So I just put 2 melees on the Lady Waycrest. I solo soul charmer with mage backup kick in case I run out of procs. If you have like an evoker instead of a second melee, then some Lady Waycrest casts will go off if you don't help at all. And if you help, then Soul Charmer can get out of control, so I usually don't help. But we're not pulling the Soul Charmer here. We just pull Trash Pull after boss. So we tag the Soul Charmer, we tag the Gloom Horrors. Fight over here so they don't have bad aggro. These actually kind of hurt, so it's important to have cooldown running the whole time. But yeah, if you play these off the boss and if you do everything separate, then this pull is like kind of easy, I guess. Normally you would play this Soul Charmer with boss, then Gloom Horrors with next boss for time. Especially on Tyrannical, I think it's kind of mandatory you do that. But on Fort, this pull is like acceptable. I don't like doing it, but whatever. Safety, safety. We'll skip to the sanguine part. Okay, so they're getting kind of low. You can just watch the circle kiting one more time. It's really not anything crazy. These are kind of easier because they jump out, but yeah, I'm just basically just walking around in a circle. I'm not like racing, I'm going to wait for one to die before I like keep moving, but every movement should be like, in a circle, basically. Following a circular path. You can like, you don't have to, you can like kind of change your direction. If someone knocks, you can like readjust to make sure they don't run through sanguine, but if no one's knocking, then you definitely just want to keep running in a circle. All right, that's that. We get to this boss. This boss on Fortified is pretty easy. The only thing that can really go wrong is if these slavers live too long. So there's a couple tricks. One thing is if the slaver is casting the drain, I don't even remember what it's called. If it's casting its ability while the boss is casting Dread Essence, Death Lens. So you see how this slaver is casting Death Lens while the boss casts Dread Essence? We let it like start casting, because if it's casting while he casts Dread Essence, it doesn't heal. You notice that? It's still at 80. Then after the Dread Essence resolves, we do the stop. This actually comes up quite a bit, so make sure you know about that interaction. Otherwise, like it'll just full heal when the boss casts Dread Essence. So you try to kill them off. It's not really a tank's job. It's really up to the DPS, but you can like keep an eye on the cooldowns and try to call like, oh yeah, don't hit this one, we can't kill it, or we have a lot of cooldowns running, try to kill them all, just focus boss, blah blah blah. You can try to make calls like that if you're keeping an eye on your DPS cooldowns, but it's not really your job, I think, as a tank to take control of that. And you're basically under no threat of dying on this boss. You can just send everything off cooldown for damage. When he does Dread Essence, if there's ads alive, that's when you're looking for sack and spell word if you're playing it, but mostly just sack, I think. Any player without a defensive. But yeah, this boss is pretty simple, so other than that, we're not gonna watch most of it. So yeah, that's the Waycrest walkthrough. Pretty heavy emphasis on sanguine kiting in this video, but it's Sanguine Week, and that's, I guess, what you have to think about. So that's all. This video actually ran really long. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to follow and catch me on Twitch. Peace out.